And we're live. We're already live. Okay, something is spinning. Okay. All right. How are we doing? How are we doing? So I'm really happy to be here. So let me give you a little bit of background while people are joining the group. I started on the radio in New York City back in 1983. That's how long I've been doing radio. And then I got my own show in did I say 83? Yes, I said 83. So 19.
Closer to the mic.
Get closer to the mic.
Yeah.
How's that?
Get your chair lower too.
Get what? Get my chair lower? Okay, is that better? Yeah. Okay, so WNWK in New York City. I had my own show at People's Station for All Nations. That's what it was. And then I did Health at Sunrise, and I was on at 7 a.m. every Wednesday morning. And then later on, I got a TV show on Manhattan Cable Television. So, yeah, I've been on media a really, really long time. I hope I've gotten better, but only time will tell. So I started off in radio here in Florida in 1992 on WNN. And I was a guest on several shows. And eventually the radio station pitched me being a host on my own show. And the show was called Your Herbal Experience. And it was a 15-minute radio show about herbs and your health. And then that 15 minutes turned into 30, 30 turned into an hour, once a week turned into 3 times a week, and eventually I was on 5 days a week from 1 to 2 p.m. and again from 5 to 6 p.m. So for about 2 years, I was on the radio every single day, 7 days a week. And that is very grueling to be on the radio 7 days a week, 2 hours a day, and still run a busy acupuncture clinic. So for 5 years, I was on the radio talking about nutrition because I knew that nutrition was the single most important aspect of your health. So I used to ask people, if you come to me for acupuncture once or twice a week, but you eat 3 meals a day, so 21 meals a day versus 2 acupuncture treatments, 21 meals a week versus 2 acupuncture treatments a week. How does that stack up? How does that look? And people didn't realize that their diet had more of an impact on their health than the acupuncture. And I talked about nutrition so much that when people actually made an appointment to come see me, they were shocked to find out that I was an acupuncturist, that I was actually a doctor of Chinese medicine and licensed in the state of Florida since 1986. So I didn't get on the radio until 1992. So it's something I've been doing for a really long time. So now I'm here to share information with you. And of course, we're dealing with this stupid virus. And the questions that are coming in, not to me, but the questions that are coming in to Dr. Anthony Fauci and some of the other television hosts, it's really amazing to me the level of, I don't want to use the word ignorance, but the lack of knowledge about how our bodies work, lack of basic anatomy and physiology, basic biology that you should have got in high school. You didn't need to go to college biology, but just basic biology. So here I am right now, today, to offer you the opportunity to ask any questions you want: health, healing, relationships, diet, food, herbal medicine, what have you. My co-host and my wonderful student, the holistic motivator, Edward Giles. Welcome, Edward.
Well, thanks for having you. I'm just going to be here to moderate it. As you guys know, we're actually launching a podcast right now. This is live, but we're launching a podcast to go on a platform. So you're going to see us going between recording a podcast and engaging with you, right? So you're like incepting into a podcast recording and you get to ask questions. It's pretty interesting. And we may not be looking at all the cameras because we're live on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
Wow, YouTube,
Instagram, and Facebook.
I'm getting dizzy, Eddie.
Yeah. So where do we look, right? And we're recording. So here's what I did. On the link, before we start this, on the link, I put the podcast up where you could subscribe on Anchor. So this is how it's going to go about. Invite your friends out. Tell them that we're having this so they can ask questions and comments, and I'm going to read them out to Dr. Love. But now what we're actually going to do, Dr. Love, I'm going to have you introduce the podcast to the people listening on the podcast platform as if they're hearing about the first time. And after you do that, we're going to start the questions. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
All right. So this would technically be the beginning of the podcast.
Okay. Podcast. Just starting.
Starting. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So for all the talking that I do, for 1 second, I'm stunned. Okay. So the purpose of the podcast is to give you information on how your body works and how to make it work better. So there are 5 basic systems. So there's the circulatory and the respiratory system. There is the digestive and reproductive system. There's the nervous system and the endocrine system. There is the central channel, which includes the brain, the eyeballs, the spinal cord, which is an extension of the brain, the spine, which encloses and protects the spinal cord, and the cerebrospinal fluid that lubricates and lubricates the spinal cord, the brain, and the eyeballs. So those are all the systems. Now, the question for you is, how do I make those systems work better? So when we go to a medical doctor, we go for a test, checkup, what have you, and they want to find out what's wrong. When you come to me for vitality testing, I'm going to tell you what's right. What's right with you, what's going on with you, okay? Now, you can go 40 days without food, you can go 14 days without water, but you can only go 4 minutes without air. So the single most important thing you can do is breathe. And the lungs are the most fragile organ. So if you're going to be penetrated by bacteria, virus, fungus, or parasite, it's going to start on the hands, it's going to go up, and it's going to penetrate your face, which we call the windows of the sky points. So in order to protect your lungs, you don't cover your nose. What you do is you wrap a scarf around your neck. You put a hat on the top of your head to prevent the heat from escaping. You wrap a belt or a sash around your belly. You wear nice warm socks. And you wear earmuffs and you wear gloves. And that's how you prevent the penetration of perverse energy. Now, what is perverse energy? So there's cold, there's wind, there's damp, there's dryness, and there's fire. Now, fire pertains to desert-like conditions. And there's 11 deserts in the world. 3 of them are in China. So there's only 2 in Africa. But that's another discussion. So wind, cold, damp. The cause of death and disease in the world, if you're using a Eurocentric model, is going to be cold, wind, and damp. And the Chinese say that cold, wind, and damp causes 100 diseases. Penetration of the cold into the hands, the feet, the neck, top of the head. Not through the nose. So wind penetrates through the skin. The pores of the skin open and close. The Chinese do not believe in the germ theory. Why not? They say when you're born, you've got 250 million bacteria in your body that you got from your mother. The Chinese say you already have 3 parasites in your lungs that you got from your mother. So bacteria, virus, and parasites, you were born with those. They don't cause disease. The Chinese say your immune system or your Wei Qi, your defensive energy, was weak, which allowed the bacteria, virus, fungus, parasites to proliferate. You were born with them. They don't cause the disease. It is your lack of defenses. So that is a major contradiction to the Western medicine model. And that's why you don't see as often as you could the integration of Eastern medicine and Western medicine. Western medicine wants to kill, and Eastern medicine wants to protect and defend and develop. And when you look at the two philosophies logically, the way I did some 37 years ago, I said the Eastern model seems way more logical and more applicable to our lifestyle. So you've got 1.4 billion Chinese, you've got 1.3 billion Hindus, and you've got 1 billion Africans that don't believe in Western medicine. That's more than half the population. So you've got to look at how many people die of cancer every year, how many people die of heart disease every year, how many people die of diabetes every year, and then compare those to China, India, and Africa. Big difference. So totally up to you, your choice. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm only here to share information, and it's up to you to pick and choose what works for you. I am the voice of Asian medicine in the West. Okay, do we have any questions right now?
Yes.
We do.
So we're opening up Ask Dr. Love to some questions. And we have a question from Donna. I need a major surgery and will be admitted to the hospital in 10 days. What precautions do you suggest?
Well, you don't give me very much information to go on. What is a major surgery? Technically, is anytime they use anesthesia. That's a major surgery. But you didn't tell me what it is. So you have to give me more information about what type of surgery, and then I can tell you what precautions to take.
All right. Any more questions? Stephanie Lloyd says, please discuss what to do if you have an iron deficiency and you're a vegan or vegetarian.
Wow, that's a really good one. There are liquid iron herbs that you can buy at Whole Foods or any health food store or buy online. There's a Swedish company. In fact, it's called Liquid Iron. That's the name of it. Swedish Bitters also has liquid iron. My grandfather used to take iron nails and put it in a bucket for a week, and then he would drink every day. He would drink a cup of water from the bucket with the iron nails in it. And of course, I thought my grandfather was crazy. And then I found out he was making a colloid of iron. And he obviously knew what he was doing. So our young minds prejudge elders' ways. And so the way you can use iron is a cast iron skillet. Kind of heavy. But you can cook your vegetables in a cast iron skillet, and the iron will mix in with the food, and that's how you can get rid of an iron deficiency.
That's awesome. Was that useful? Let us know in the comment section. All right. We have another person with a statement, which is a question. And it was said, I'm a diabetic. What precautions should I take?
Okay, so again, you're not giving me any information. Diabetic. That means your blood sugar is over 100.
So what should we do to prevent diabetic complications?
Okay, that's a much better question. Okay, so diabetic complications actually cause more death than diabetes. So liver and spleen function are impaired with high blood sugar. So diabetes means that your pancreas is unable to regulate the amount of blood sugar that you need. Blood sugar is the actual fuel of the body. So if any of you are old enough to remember a carburetor in a car that would measure the amount of oxygen versus fuel that would make your car run cleaner, better, faster, stronger, then the same thing, our diets want to regulate the amount of fuel intake and injection in order to produce energy. So that's what we call a glycemic index. Your foods have a way of metabolizing sugar. So we have a brain metabolism and we have a body metabolism. And all those require sugar. So carbohydrate. So carbohydrate is C6H12O6. If you were able to visualize this particular geometric structure. So 6 carbons, 12 oxygens, C6H12O6, and 6 oxygens. So that is a carbohydrate. Now, you have a single carbohydrate, which is what we call a simple sugar. Then you have complex, which is 3 or more. So table sugar is a simple sugar. When it goes into the stomach, it splits and goes directly into the bloodstream. So the pancreas regulates that. And so your blood sugar will literally spike. Then the pancreas secretes insulin, which brings the blood sugar levels back down. Now, here's the problem. When the blood sugar spikes fast and your blood sugar goes up, like you eat a candy bar where you had 6 chocolate chip cookies, as I used to do, or eat a bag of M&Ms like I used to do, your blood sugar would then spike, and then the pancreas secretes insulin to bring it down fast. And when it comes down fast, it actually goes too low, and then the adrenals send a message, replace the sugar. So sugar high, sugar low, sugar high, sugar low, sugar high, sugar low. And then the pancreas says, you know what? I think I'm going to take a break. I'm going out the back door, smoke a cigarette. So the pancreas goes on break. There's nothing wrong with the pancreas. The pancreas is not broken. It's just refusing to work because you went sugar high, sugar low so often, it just stopped. Now, can we tease the pancreas back into working? Can we massage the pancreas back into working? Can we stimulate it to go back into working? Yes. Well, A, you can change your diet. You can stop eating fried foods, high sugary foods. You can stop buying fruit juice, bottled juices, anything with sugar in it. You can stop drinking coffee with sugar. So all those are things that you can stop doing. And then you can walk a mile. You can run a mile. Mild exercise, but something that gets the energy moving, that gets the blood sugar, gets the blood flowing, gets the muscles moving, and then you can burn off that excess sugar. So that's what's going on. Okay, so how can we prevent? That was the question.
Mhm.
How can we prevent it?
And somebody also asks, well, I'm a diabetic right now, and there's a scare that the virus is going to affect me more than other people. Is that true? Is it not true?
The virus affects the lungs. It's designed to attack the lungs. Okay? Clarification.
Mhm.
The virus attacks the lungs. As a diabetic, are you more susceptible? If you don't take care of your lungs, we're all susceptible. So no, the diabetes doesn't put you more at risk. It's smoking, lack of exercise, lack of doing breathing exercises. That's what puts you more at risk.
All right. So Belinda is participating a lot. Thank you, Belinda, for participating. And she says, what ways can you boost your immune system to make us better and immune to this?
Okay, so from the Asian perspective, there's three parts to the immune system. Number one is what we call cellular immunity, and those are macrophages that eat the bacteria, the dirt, whatever that enters into the cell. Then there's humoral immunity, which is the 5 types of specialized white blood cells that live in the lymphatic system. And then there's another part to the immune system, which has to do with awareness, with insight, with intuition. And that is, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't eat that. I shouldn't go there. There's certain things that I should not do, but I do them anyway. I override my common sense. So how do we build the immune system? Well, from the Asian perspective, we want to eat more raw fruits and vegetables. So 4 fruits, 5 veggies. Now, what are the 4 fruits? What are the 5 veggies? A serving of fruit is a half a pound. So you need to eat 4 servings, which is 2 pounds of fruit a day. And you need to eat 5 servings of vegetables a day. So that's rice, that's beans, that's raw salad, that's steamed greens, and root veggies. Grains and beans, and roots and fruits, and seeds. Grains and beans.
Grains and beans, fruit and greens.
Beans. This is the food that you must eat. So
If
you
you
can
wanna
be the best on your feet. I said the grains and beans and fruit and greens. This is the food that you must eat if you want to be the best on your feet. So that's how we build the immune system, from what it is that you eat. So the spleen is responsible for Wei Qi, or defensive energy. The spleen regulates the digestive system. So the spleen manufactures digestive enzymes, the spleen manufactures white blood cells, and the spleen controls the lymphoid system, which is the filtration of the dirt out of the body. So yellow fruits, yellow vegetables, and naturally sweet vegetables. So that would be pumpkins and carrots and parsnips and squash and turnips and rutabagas, and jicama. These are all yellowish, orangish vegetables that are all good for your spleen. Corn, if it's not GMO. So these are easy to digest, and they're really, really good for you. They're good for your spleen. Secondarily, soups and stews. So anything that's water-based is good to eat for your spleen and your immune system.
Water base. Just like we had the mung beans, you soak the mung beans in water.
Right.
And they soaked in all that water.
They soaked in all that water.
In like 24 hours.
24 hours. And they sprouted.
Yeah. And then we ate the sprouts.
We ate the sprouts. We're going to do it again.
Yeah. We're going to have a video on YouTube on how to sprout mung beans.
Mung beans and lentils.
Lentils.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning live, online, or in the podcast app, you can always ask Dr. Love questions. Now, what if you want to email Dr. Love questions? You can email Dr. Love questions as well at info@lovechinesemedicine.com. Also, if you go on the YouTube, Mystic Zen Master, you can also comment questions. So email questions, comment questions, or tune in live. If you're watching live on Facebook now, what questions do you have for Dr. Love? All right, Dr. Love, I do not see any questions on YouTube, Facebook. So I have a couple of questions for you. So I'm toxic, hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
Right? So I'm a toxic person, but I didn't really know it because my lifestyle has been normalized. I have a normalized lifestyle, but I'm toxic and I don't know it. So by that, I mean I'm full of mucus and I'm full of ish. You know, I have a lot of backed up digestion.
Mm-hmm.
What should be the thing I should do to clean myself and clean my body and cleanse and start fresh so I'm not too toxic anymore?
Okay, so we want to start with a detoxification program. So there's a book, I believe Anthony Williams wrote a book on celery juice. I'm very happy that he wrote that book, but I've been saying the same thing for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Celery, a pound of celery juiced 3 times a day for 90 days cures blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first went to Chinese medicine school in Montreal in 1979, before the first schools in the US opened, the Chinese government could not afford Western drugs. So they were looking for natural cures since 1959. So the Chinese government had 20 years experience looking for natural cures for the common problems that the people experience, and high blood pressure being one of them. So a pound of celery juiced 3 times a day for 90 days cleans the plaque. So there's something in celery that literally erases the plaque on the inside of the blood vessel, which causes high blood pressure. So I was recommending celery juice back in 1980. Didn't write a book on it, but thank goodness for Anthony Williams. So what I discovered through trial and error is that celery juice is boring. Nobody wants to drink celery juice for more than 5 days, let alone 90 days. So I added beet juice to the celery. Now, beets contain something called betaine, which is a chelated mineral. Now, chelate means claw, and that means all the minerals that we need, that human beings need, are already in the proper ratio contained in betaine, which is in beets. So anything you hear on the radio, they're talking about nitric oxide. Yeah, it's betaine. That's the thing that you really want. So beet juice replaces the minerals that are lost to the stress of normal living. So the average American experiences stressful events 9 times a day. Wow. So minerals are constantly being leached from your body because of stress, and beets replace that. Now, beets, sometimes bitter, not always, but carrot juice is always sweet. So we use Canada carrots, which is those big carrots. So carrot juice is high in vitamin A, which erases the plaque in the blood vessels. So carrot juice is good for night blindness. So as we age, the blood vessels leading to the eye, which are the smallest blood vessels in your body, the carrots break up that, so you don't have reduced vision at night, right? So carrots, celery, and beets. So 50% celery, 25% carrot, 25% beets. Then we add a piece of ginger, which is a blood mover, and then we add a piece of turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, and cardioprotective.
Mm-hmm.
So the juice is actually medicine. The entire drink is medicine. So how I discovered this, or how I got started on this, is that people kept calling me, I saw this detox program. Is it any good? I saw this detox. So every week I get 4, 5, 6 people calling me about some detox program that they heard about or read about it, and it was always a pill. And they were still allowed to eat, as if the food didn't matter, that the pill mattered. And that really annoyed me at the time.
Yeah.
That people were thinking they could buy health in a pill. Health is your behavior. You can't buy health in a bottle. Health is your behavior. And you can't separate health from spirituality. So I went right to the juice. And so, through trial and error, the right ratio, whether it's organic or not organic, Canada versus whatever, Chinese celery versus US celery. So I distilled that formula down until now. I've got it, and it's perfect.
And a quick question, it doesn't matter if the beets are in a jar?
Yes, everything's matter. It's got to be fresh and organic.
Fresh and organic.
Yeah.
All right, that answers my question. And also, I read something about that if you drink beet juice and then you excrete, that's the word? Excrete, which means pee or poo. A lot of red, it means that you have low iron. Is that true?
I don't know whether the color has to do with the amount of iron.
Okay. All right.
But you're gonna pee red, and you're gonna poo red. That just goes with the territory. Now, I put together a kit of 5 additional herbs. The number 1 ingredient is agar powder. It's a sea vegetable fiber that inside your body it expands and it pushes the cellular debris out. Number 2 is bee pollen. Bee pollen keeps your energy level high when you're not eating. Number 3 is blue-green algae. I happen to use chlorella, which is single-celled blue-green algae, which is a high-quality vegetable protein. Okay? So those are all things that we add. So, I'm sorry, the bee pollen adds, the blue-green algae adds, cayenne and garlic cleans out the blood vessel. It's like a push broom. The agar powder also acts to clean out the colon. And the last ingredient is cayenne garlic, blue-green algae, agar powder. The stool softener. So the last ingredient is a stool softener, because the walls of your colon are about 5 inches in diameter. And over the years, by the time you're 30 years old, you got an inch of crud impacting the inside of your colon. So we need the stool softener to loosen that stuff up off the inside of the walls. So those are the 5 ingredients of the Dr. Love Green Clean.
The Dr. Love Green Clean program. If you go on YouTube, there's a bunch of testimonials on it, right?
There's a lot of testimonials. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1983. So I've got testimonials. People have been doing this for 30 years.
30 years. And we're launching the webpage. Actually, it's a whole program, 21 Days to Wellness.
21 Days to Wellness.
Soon.
21 Days to Be Well. The first 14 days is juice feasting, and then the next 7 days is raw food or living foods.
So like you said, Dr. Love, health is a lifestyle. It's not it's an action. That's a life. It's a lifestyle that's shown through your actions every single day, right? So Deja asks, how do you get rid of diabetes? You always say diabetes is not a disease. And we talked about diabetes earlier. So you have to change your lifestyle, right?
You got to change your lifestyle. So what is it called? Raw in 30 Days. So there's a video on YouTube called Raw in 30 Days. And there's a doctor in Arizona. His name will come to me in a second. And he took 30 people who had blood sugars of 200 to 500. And in 2 weeks of raw food, only raw food, and walking a quarter mile a day, that was it. Walking a quarter of a mile a day and all raw food, all their blood sugars dropped into the healthy range below 120 in just 2 weeks. So I don't want to belabor that issue, but that's how you prevent diabetes or reverse diabetes, is eating raw foods. That's it.
Will Smith said he detoxed for 10 days, or he did juices for 10 days, and because of that, he got off his blood pressure medication.
He got off his blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Wow. All right. I guess that concludes.
That's 20 minutes.
That concludes Ask Dr. Love. Dr. Love, thank you for your gift to the world. This is your podcast. I'm just.
Well, I couldn't do it without you.
it.
I couldn't do it without you. Thank everyone for tuning in. And we're going to do this every day at 11. We're going to do this every day at 11 until the ban is lifted.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll go to once a week.
Then we'll change the schedule up. That's awesome. Well,
all right.
That concludes it. What's your final message to people listening?
Your health is in your hands. Prevention is the only cure. And in order to be well, you got to breathe well. Thank you for listening.
Oh, I know we're live, but we practice what we teach, right? Where's your drink? You drank that already.
Oh, I drank my.
I still got mine right here.
I
Medicine.
drank my carrot celery beet. I
Cheers.
drank it already.
Everybody watching live all around the world. Cheers. Cheers to good health, wellness, happiness, and clean insights.
Right.
Yes.
To breathe well, you got to breathe well.
All right, now we got to close all of these. All right, bye-bye, Facebook. Share this video.